In this video, we're going to look at something called a fence post algorithm. So right here in my code, I have a method called print up to 10, and that's going down here to this method, which takes in an integer parameter. And what this method is supposed to do is print out all the integers from 1 up to n. So I'm going to use a while loop for this. I'll make my counter equal to 1, while my counter is less than or equal to n, the parameter. I will print out, ouch.println. I'm going to print out I followed by a comma like I'm supposed to, and then increase I by 1. And so that looks good. I'll go ahead and run it, and oh no, they're all on different lines. I want them on the same line, so I'll make it a print statement instead. And great, there's what I wanted exactly. Oh no, there's an extra comma at the end. And so the reason why what we're going to do is called a fence post algorithm is if you think of a fence post, it's like fence post, then something, then fence post, then something, fence post, something, fence post. And you end up with fence posts at both the beginning and the end. And so you don't end up with these nice pairs. I mean, at the beginning you do, but at the end you have kind of like a half pair. So we can't always print out an I and a comma, because if you do that, you'll always end up with the same number of commas as I's, and we need to have one less comma. So there are kind of two ways to do this that I can think of right now. The first is, let's separate out the printout of the number from the printout of the comma. So if I run this program, it does the exact same thing now. Still does the numbers from 1 to 10 and commas, but I like the commas to only print out when it's not the last number. So I'm going to write an if case here. If I is less than n, so if I is not the last number, if that's the case, then, and only then, should I print out a comma. And if I run it now, look, it works. So in every case now, it is printing out a comma except for when I is equaling n. So I guess another way you could have written this is if I does not equal n, print out the comma. Same deal. A second way you could implement a fence post algorithm is I'll go back to printing out I with a comma in one statement, but then I'm going to make the loop only run n minus 1 times. And so now you can see I'm getting the pairs, but I don't have the 10. So that means after the loop, I'm going to have to print out the final value manually. And if we run it, now it's back to the way it's supposed to be. So this video is just to introduce you to the idea of a fence post algorithm. It's how you can implement code so you can have a pattern that repeats, but at the very end you have kind of a half pattern. All right, that is all.